Who was allied with ISIS and Al-Qaeda during the entire last 6 years of the Arab Spring? Well, Al Gore called for an Arab Spring here in America. Al Gore, Phil Mudd, and many others also said, like the former deputy director of the CIA, Phil Mudd said, or like the former head of the CIA, Mr. Brennan said, there will be terror attacks in America, and they're coming, and Trump is going to be overthrown in the next 2 months. That was 2 months ago, basically to the day of October 1st, which is the 100-year anniversary. The 100-year anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution, and the literal grandchildren of the folks that financed the Bolshevik Revolution out of New York and London are now bragging, saying Bolshevik 2 is launching. Ladies and gentlemen, it's October 1st. I had Matt Bracken, former Navy SEAL and counterterrorism expert, on yesterday. And we both predicted you would start seeing mass shootings at big public venues like rock concerts and football games, and that would be used to trigger a civil war in America. On Friday, and we're going to play excerpts of it, we laid out the left's admissions all over the news and all over their own websites and in meetings they're having that we have videos of all over the country, that they're preparing for mass terror attacks in America to mainly go out and kill white people. And it is white folks who are the ones saying they're going to go out and kill white people. In fact, the leader of Canada came out after another Somali refugee stabbed and ran over more people yesterday and called for an end to white supremacy. France also called for the same thing after 2 women were stabbed to death at a train station and then other people were run over. I'm not kidding. This is Stockholm Syndrome. They're invoking it on you. They don't have it. They attack you, then they tell you to submit. Last week, a Sudanese migrant, went to a Christian church. He said he wanted to kill white people and Christians, and he did just that. All yelling Allah Akbar. But you never hear about it a day after it happens. Daily attacks, multiple attacks per day, all over the Western world, and nothing is being done. Meanwhile, the FBI is launching a civil rights investigation to make sure, and I guess he was treated lovingly and properly. So it's all coming up today, ladies and gentlemen. This is the biggest massacre in U.S. history using a firearm. There are 58 dead, 515 injured. Is the latest numbers that came out just 5 minutes ago with the police having a press conference. Now, we've talked to our military experts, and they all agree that what you were hearing was a belt gun. That's why the speed goes up and goes down. And it could be somebody with a professional belt-fed gun or someone with some other systems that you can purchase and then adapt into an AR-15 or AK. Hillary is calling for taking the Second Amendment as usual. Now, here's the big news. Islamic State has taken responsibility, and the man known by the police for issues, I guess mental illness, had reportedly converted to Islam in the last 2 months. And even though that's being reported by Reuters and others, you're not seeing it on CNN or MSNBC. We've been tracking it. Maybe I missed it. But that's pretty big news, isn't it? Now, let's stop right there. Who was allied with ISIS and Al-Qaeda during the entire last 6 years of the Arab Spring? Well, Al Gore called for an Arab Spring here in America. Al Gore, Phil Mudd, and many others also said, like the former deputy director of the CIA, Phil Mudd said, or like the former head of the CIA, Mr. Brennan said, there will be terror attacks in America, and they're coming, and Trump is going to be overthrown in the next 2 months. That was 2 months ago, basically to the day of October 1st, which is the 100-year anniversary. The 100-year anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution, and the literal grandchildren of the folks that financed the Bolshevik Revolution out of New York and London are now bragging, saying Bolshevik 2 is launching. I told you over and over again that I believe their November 4th launch terror date was a smokescreen for them to begin launching terror attacks in October. They will get successively more intense until you basically come punch drunk to them. Then they'll launch their main attack. Here's the other big news. On Saturday night, Sunday morning, they released OJ just 20 hours before the attack took place, so all the media would come and be in place to cover this event. The whole thing has the hallmarks of being scripted by deep state Democrats and their Islamic allies using mental patient cutouts. I'm Alex Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 58 dead people, 515 plus injured, many of them critically. Obviously, the death toll is going to go up. We should be praying for all the victims, the survivors, and their families of the Las Vegas massacre that ISIS has taken responsible leadership in. Every time Islamic State has taken credit for something, it turns out that they were either directly or indirectly involved. The police say that they knew the 66-year-old shooter and that they were well aware of him and that he had converted to Islam in the last few months. I've been pointing out that the left doesn't want to take the full blame when they launch violent attacks in America. And so what they do is they then claim they've converted to Islam so they can then basically put it on Islam so that when they take full political power after the violent revolution, they can then just double-cross Islam. But they want to use Islam as the cutout so Islam gets the blame and in many cases is the actual muscle for them to take control. Then they just double-cross Islam. On Friday, I did the entire first hour of the broadcast warning you over and over and over and over again that I don't believe the revolution's coming on November 4th like the Democrats and the communists and Antifa are saying. Across the country, you've seen the videos, the articles, it's been the national news. They say they're going to go violent, start shooting and killing police, conservatives, whites, you name it, and that white genocide needs to be carried out, even though most of them are white. And those videos are all over the internet. And I pointed out that Antifa is just the cover. They're the useful idiots paid for by the big tax-free foundations. They know exactly what they're doing at the leadership level, but not down lower in the actual rank and file. I've been saying on Friday, and I said on Saturday and on Sunday, on the Sunday broadcast, but I did special transmissions on Saturday as well, warning that this was coming and warning it was imminent and saying I believed it would come around October 1st and that the main assault would come in the middle of October. They want to have a bunch of little assaults, then medium-sized assaults, and then some larger assaults, I also predicted up front, so that when the huge mega assault comes, the population doesn't react and has basically been conditioned into accepting it. That is a military tactic. There is so much to cover here, but we saw terror attacks in Canada. We saw terror attacks in France by people screaming Allah Akbar with ISIS flags, car attacks, truck attacks, stabbing attacks. We saw the attack last Sunday at the Christian church by the black supremacist Muslim who had just traveled to the U.S. in the last few years as a, quote, migrant. He said he wanted to kill whites and he wanted to kill Christians. Now you see a country music festival, and stereotypically that would be whites and that would be conservatives, being attacked, and you've got 500 plus injured and 58 dead. Scores of those 500 plus injured fighting for their lives. The reported gunman was firing out of what looks like two different rooms or two adjoining rooms out of two different windows, and witnesses reported seeing muzzle flashes coming out of both windows. We're going to play some of that audio and some of that video here in just a moment. But understand this, Hillary's trying to blame the Second Amendment for this when they're the ones that have brought in the Islamicists and they're the ones that have promoted this whole Civil War atmosphere. And we've got, of course, other organizations and we've got other groups like Saturday Night Live calling the president scum and a cracker and a racist Saturday, invoking just vicious, vicious, vicious propaganda in an attempt to cause a civil war in this country, claiming that the president ordered a stand down in Puerto Rico, even though there's been food there building up for 2 weeks, and the Teamsters are on video, Democrats saying they won't deliver the food. They won't deliver the fuel. They won't deliver the air-conditioned facilities. They won't deliver the air-conditioned 18-wheelers. And you've got the mayor refusing of San Juan to go to the FEMA and military meetings, and you've got Hispanic members of the military that live in Puerto Rico, colonels and others saying this is all a complete fraud. Our government is standing down in Puerto Rico to blame Trump. This is so criminal. But it's part of revolution. They're going all the way. They mean business. Let's go ahead and start playing some of these very, very shocking clips. Parental discretion is advised. The moment shots started going off during the concert, this is shot by folks in the crowd. Here it is. So he still went for about 20 seconds till he ran off the stage. That is biblical, where you can hear the bullets being fired. You can hear the report of the what sounds like a semi-automatic rifle, but it's being belt-fed. It's being cranked through. That's why it goes at different speeds, and then suddenly everybody starts running after the music stops. Here is a clip of once the crowd started running.
I need to take a video. No, you're good.
Everyone just laying down. There's only one exit.
Go! Babe, you're okay. I promise.
Let me tell you something. These NFL events and these rock concerts that are open air, they are Islamic kill centers. Just like the Islamists that blew up all the little teenage girls over there in England. And you notice normally they target a gay nightclub, or they target, you know, a young girl, a rock band pop venue. And I pointed out, why do the Islamists go and attack the liberals that are the folks letting them in? And the media said that I was blaming the victims. No, I simply said, why do they then go to the gay nightclub when it's the liberals and folks that are saying, let the Muslims in? The media spun that I was saying it was the gays' fault and that they staged it. I never said that. That's another MSM lie. And they'll lie again. I asked the question, why does the left bring in the very groups that are trying to kill you? Well, now we see what appears to be the first Islamist attack on a conservative group or a conservative venue. And there'll undoubtedly be liberals, conservatives, you name it, at a country music venue. But generally, it's about 80% white, 15% Hispanic, 5% black. I've been to many country concerts, and that's what the video shows. It's about 80% white. And then a lot of Hispanic folks like country music as well, because it's basically the same culture. And then you've got this white knight, this individual up here reportedly doing it, but we don't know that's the case. His brother has come out and given an interview to Reuters and says he didn't have guns, he wasn't into guns, he wasn't into hunting. But they've buried that. And instead, I've got the Daily Mail exclusive. He was just a guy, something happened, he snapped. Las Vegas shooter brothers, his family is dumbfounded at massacre and have no idea of the motive. But then you read later, and the media is trying to say that he was into guns, so all gun owners are to blame. But I have his brother here in the transcript with Reuters saying, no, he wasn't into guns. But let's expand on that. We have witnesses who were there. That video is coming up after break as well, who said, listen, there were Hispanic folks, Hispanic couple, saying, you better get out of here. You're going to be dead. You're going to die here tonight. Now, a lot of folks were saying, yeah, they were messing with people. Because if somebody tells you you're at a concert, you're about to die, you call that messing with you. Well, no, it's not messing with you. They were warning you to get out. Woman celebrating 21st birthday was in front row, says another woman came during the show and told everybody they were going to die to get out, and they thought they were messing with them, but they were so spooked out by it, they left. So that's coming up as well on the other side. But first, we're going to play the clip from Friday, just 6 minutes out of the first hour, where I laid out and predict that October is when they're launching their revolution. The NFL taking a knee, the statues being taken down, Charlottesville, all the different preparations, all the race baiting, all the calls to kill Whitey, all the media hate, Antifa admitting they're planning this big attack. I don't think it's coming in November. It's coming in October. This is the 100th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little